2, 3, 4.
Let's get ready to grumble on this good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to our 46th episode of the Good Morning Guys podcast. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, or night as we continue discussing the game of life amidst the other games we love to watch and play. I'm one of your hosts, the Brazilian Mountaineer and Transition Ninja, Lucas Ham Swisher, coming at you live from Fort Wayne, Indiana, while hanging out with Jesus at Liberty Mills Church of the Nazarene. With me also, the judge, the jury, the executioner of fake news and spoilers, Patrick Novosel, who's coming at you live from Cincinnati, Ohio.
So are you podcasting in a church right now?
I am literally podcasting in a church.
Nice.
Right now, my friend. I'm
so
pretty
are
sure
you
this
in
is
the
like
minister's
the
office?
No, I'm in the boardroom where the large picture of Jesus hangs on the wall.
Yep, lily white Jesus.
People.
How big do you think that picture is? Is that like 34 by 55 feet?
Yes, give or take a few.
Huge.
Give or take a few feet. His head alone is like a length of probably 4 of my hands. So it's large and in charge. Also with us, the final member of the GMG Quadfecta, because our third member is not with us, which we'll talk about in a moment. The man with music in his heart, Doctor Who on his brain, and La Coretta in his stomach, a Marc Boucher coming at you from Lynchburg, Virginia.
I can't help but when I see that picture of that particular style of the portrait of Jesus or whatever, it just makes me think of there's these videos where they like overdubbed like these really old Jesus movies, and they made Jesus sound all like prissy sounding, like, "Oh, my name's Jesus."
That's interesting.
I walked on water. I think I can walk to the door.
What? This sounds so awesome.
It's quite possible that you just ruined that picture of Jesus for me. Not that I ever thought that it was an accurate picture of Jesus, but now you added the voice. And so now
You'd be looking at that picture from now on, like, okay, so what do I want to have to eat today?
Thee before thou, except after thine.
Wow, folks, if this is your first time joining us, this is the most irreverent we have been on the show, perhaps. I'm not sure. You might have to listen back to our 45 other episodes and see if that's true. If it's not your first time joining us, well, you probably already know how irreverent we can be, or have been, or are being right now. Anyone confused yet? I know I am.
What is the definition of irreverent?
Irreverent, where you take something sacred and you treat it as something common.
Got it.
I just made that up. I'm not sure if that's the actual
It's
definition.
where you take something reverent and put an ear in front of it.
I accept that backup definition. That definition's not right. All right, guys, before we get into what's new news, I wanted to have a quick little GMG community Cornery and another apology edition-y. I almost landed that one, but I messed it up right.
I can just see a rainbow
close
just
enough.
like going across the screen when you say that.
Bring. All right, so in one of our most recent written reviews, I think I mentioned it last week, from TTV Big G Red, which I totally messed that up because it's supposed to be TTV Big Red. He just put 2 G's with big for some reason.
Oh.
I realized and learned this week that it was my cousin who wrote that review.
Oh.
It didn't click until a couple days after we recorded the podcast. He was at my little family reunion at my grandma's house in the Toledo-Perrysburg area a couple weeks ago. And he told me recently, once I confirmed that it was him, so the reason for the TTV is that's Twitch TV.
Yeah.
And then his name on Twitch is Big Red with 2 G's.
Okay.
So that's the connection. He wrote us that nice little simple, straight to the point review.
Together.
But I found out today that he's actually listened after less than 2 weeks, I think. He's already listened to like 10 of our episodes.
Nice.
And
cool.
He said he will continue to listen whenever he can. He really enjoys it. He loves the mix of gaming and real life and random topics that we have going on. So shout out to my cousin Brent in Florida. He is a lover of games like us and also is one of my newest Exploding Kittens converts.
Oh,
nice.
So,
shout out to Big G.
Yeah, Big G Red. Thanks for your review, your love, and your listens, cousin. Also, an apology to some of our listeners who wrote in last week. We were not able to get through all of your questions, mainly because Ronnie could not stop talking about the Power Rangers and them fighting Voltron. So, with that being said, since Ronnie is not here with us to defend himself, you're just going to have to go with that truth. Which, speaking of Ronnie, well, no, we'll wait for speaking of Ronnie. So, Mark, did you have any questions to share with us to kind of make sure we covered all of our bases?
We do have a few that we missed here. So the first one off is from Mr. Travis Popsicle. He asked the question, stupidest thing that you have ever done that you wish you hadn't, and go.
Gosh. I
Jeez,
really should have looked at these questions. I really should have looked at these questions before I told you to ask them.
There was one time when, like back in high school, I was a punk. I was a punk. A really big punk.
Were you a punk?
What'd you do, punk?
You remember you telling you how I stole a mailbox and I gave it to one of my buddies? So yeah, stuff like that. So
yes.
there was, there was one time we were on a bridge, and I think I was like 17 at the time, and we had eggs in our hands, in our possession, and a car had driven, there was a highway underneath this bridge, and a car was coming through and passed under the bridge. And as it passed under the bridge, we threw an egg at this car going 65 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
That can do some damage.
In our minds, we're like, oh, this is just an egg. This is going to plop. It's not going to be anything, it's harmless, we're 17,
you sounded like
us.
You sounded like Mario. It's harmless. What's
it's
it going to do? It can't hurt anyone.
So, so we throw it, and it sounded to us like this egg went straight through the windshield. That's the sound that it made. It was dark. It was like 10 o'clock at night. It was super dark, so we couldn't tell. But they had thrown on their hazards and gone off onto the shoulder, and we had left. And we were like, what kind of idiots did we? What did we just do? And I'm just thinking, like, in my mind, like, there's that guy or that woman that's driving. Like, were they able to realize what had hit them at that time? You think they could tell it was like an egg? I'm not sure. But I can only imagine they got out of the car and like, oh, those punks.
Yeah, bet they were that calm.
They all sounded like Dirty Harry.
I wish I could have taken that back because that was dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Oh, I have one.
Mark, what you got?
I have one in my mind. I just don't know if I want to share it.
I almost killed a dude. You can share it.
I almost killed a dude with an egg to the face.
Okay, I'm going to share it, and please don't judge me, even though you're totally judging me right now. Right. So in my youth, in high school, I at one point attempted to park with a girl, and I'll let you figure out what that means.
Purple alert.
Yeah.
Purple alert. Purple. Dang it, I can't say that word right.
Purple alert.
Purple alert. No purpling.
My relationship with Jesus was not as strong as it could have been at that point.
I just confirmed with Jesus. That is very true. He told me.
It looks like Jesus is the way that you have it set up right now. It looks like Jesus is staring at you.
Is he?
Okay. So yeah, I attempted to park with a girl down this, like, it was like a dirt road, I guess, it was kind of like a dead end road, and I was driving my mom's Toyota Tercel. Now, if you know what a Toyota Tercel is,
that's a babe magnet.
Yo, totally. It's a it's a dinky little car. So, at this point, I think it had to have been like February or something like that. And so
Baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah, it was cold, and there was still snow on the ground. And the way that things were situated, I was trying to go as far as I could down the dirt road to get close to the dead end. And I drove over the snow mound that I saw there, and in doing so, got stuck over the snow mound into a ditch. It was like a trench kind of sort of thing that I had driven into, and I tried to back up, and I couldn't. I couldn't get out. So here's my mom's car while I'm doing something that I totally shouldn't be doing. And the back end of her car is sticking up in the air. Now at this point, I don't know what to do because, I can't get the car out. And I'm going to have to basically tell my mom that I was somewhere where I shouldn't have been. And, so I had to call my mom. I had to call my girlfriend at the time, had to call her dad. And her dad paid for this, I guess this winch of some type to be able to pull the car up out of the ditch because my mom refused to pay for it. And I didn't know what else to do. So, yeah. That's the dumbest thing that I have ever done that I wish I had not.
Jeez. Well, I feel like in the past 10 months of podcasting, I feel like this question has come up more than I care to share. And like Patrick, and I think Marc would probably say, we have a laundry list. It's just sometimes a matter of like thinking of the right one or remembering or making sure we don't repeat ourselves. So for the sake of not repeating myself, the first one that came to mind I actually shared on the Delvin Cox Experience. But I won't share that one again. You can listen to episode
Was that
something.
the poop story?
Yeah, that's the poop story. Most of my stupid things have to do with poop. But the stupid thing that came to mind was that and this kind of has relation to what I did last week when I shared about going to camp. One of the very first times that my parents let me actually drive to camp, I took my sister with me, and truth be told, I actually did not remember the way to camp because I had this practice that maybe some of you had. Anytime you rode with someone on a long trip, maybe like me, you would fall asleep most of the time, and that's what I did. Anytime I'd go on a long trip with my family, a couple hours, usually I just fell asleep, and I never paid attention where we were going. And so when my parents told me what to do, I had some idea because, you wake up from time to time when you're sleeping in a car and you see some of your surroundings and that kind of stuff. So they said, you need to take Route 79. It's an interstate. Very easy. You just take Route 79 and then you hit a route called 19. And so I drove to the town. It was like a town 20 minutes away that had Route 79. And I got in the lane to turn onto Route 79, but I just stayed in that lane. Like, it turned left to go into Route 79, but I just kept going straight, thinking, well, the sign said I was on Route 79, and if I just stay in this left lane, I'm going to get there eventually. Well, I was actually on Route 50.
Oh!
And I followed Route 50 for an hour and a half. And while I was on Route 50, even though I was in doubt, I looked around and I was like, well, this looks similar. So there's some hills, there's some trees, which is most of West Virginia. And
Can't
I
confirm.
thought, this is the right way. And I got to the city of Parkersburg, which is pretty much like pretty far west in West Virginia. And it is not, Summersville is south, by the way, if you don't know your West Virginia geography very well. And so I got an hour and a half down, and I knew I was not in the right place. I called my parents, and they started laughing, of course. They said, Lucas, you went the totally wrong direction. Instead of going south, you went west. And so I had to turn around an hour and a half to get back to the town that had Route 79. And then I drove and hit Interstate 79, and then eventually got to Summersville, West Virginia, where camp was, only about 3 hours late. And so that was a dumb thing that I did, where I did not pay attention. So the lesson here, folks, kids, teenagers, if your parents drive somewhere, sometimes pay attention, because there might be a day when you want to drive and they're going to let you fail, and it's not going to be fun.
All they need to do is use the GPS nowadays on their phone.
You know what? You're
Google
right.
Maps.
That's true. Forget that. Just use GPS. Don't try to make up your own way like I did.
The more you know.
So, Mark, got any other questions for us?
Oh, yes, I do. I do indeed. And so Ash Ingram, she asked, what's in your fridge right now?
Well, I can answer that one. I have no idea. I won't know for the next 2 months.
Good point.
It's in Brazil, and I am in the United States.
We have milk, orange juice, sweet tea, vegetables, fruit, yogurt. Let's see, cheese, ham, turkey, salad, lettuce, all that stuff. We have Long John Silver's tartar sauce. We have
a lifetime supply, no less.
What's that?
A lifetime supply, no less.
Yeah. It's just like it's the gift that keeps on giving. Every time I look, I need some tartar sauce. I look in there. Oh yeah.
Thanks, LGS.
Yeah. I used to have beer in there. That's all gone. Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Womp.
Jeez, Clark, you need to get it together.
I know. That lush.
He's got to cut back. Mark, how about you?
A lot of things we need to throw out. We need to clean out our fridge pretty bad.
Aged cheese in the form of a milk carton.
Wouldn't
Cottage
doubt
cheese
it.
in a carton.
I wouldn't doubt it. And the funny thing is, Ash actually posted a picture of her the inside of her fridge, and there is absolutely no way I would want to post a picture of the inside of my fridge.
Now, let me ask you this. I saw the picture of Ash Ingram of her fridge, and she had almond milk. Do you guys drink almond milk? I've never had it before.
I just had some today in my coffee because there was no other milk. And I'm one of the non-purists for coffee, and I like milk in my coffee, and I tried it. It wasn't bad, but it does taste like literally like liquid almonds. So if you like almonds, good. If you do not, then you're
What about you, Mark? Have you ever had that before?
Almond milk? Yeah. Yeah, I've had almond milk before.
You prefer it?
No, I would probably still drink regular milk, but I don't mind drinking almond milk. Especially I think my stepmom used to buy vanilla almond milk, and that was really good.
That sounds good. I like anything with vanilla.
I'm gonna
so
try
good. Yep. Mark, I want to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being Ash Ingram's refrigerator, 1 being the refrigerator in Minority Report, that do you remember that refrigerator where Tom Cruise is trying to find his eyeballs?
I don't.
Or he's
trying
to find. Oh, you don't remember that? He's looking for a sandwich, and actually he's looking for food in the refrigerator, and the doctor puts a fresh sandwich and fresh milk in it, but he can't see.
Are you trying to compare Mark's fridge to a pair of eyeballs in a fridge?
No, there weren't eyeballs in the fridge. His eyeballs were he had to switch eyeballs so he wouldn't get in trouble.
Where was his eyeballs?
They got replaced
in this fridge.
I misspoke. There's no eyeballs in the fridge. There was actually So let's backpedal here. You can edit this out, Patrick, because you won't. In the refrigerator was supposed to be a fresh glass of milk and a sandwich for Tom Cruise's character in Minority Report. But he couldn't see because he had an eyeball transplant, and That happens all the time.
Of course.
And so he reaches in and he inadvertently knocks down the fresh milk and avoids the fresh sandwich. And instead he grabs some green milk and a green sandwich that is green from being like rotten. And he grabs it and starts to drink and throws up. And then he tries to eat the sandwich and throws up. And then he abandons all hope of having a good meal.
And then I just threw up in my mouth a little
Yeah.
bit.
So I say all that to say, how would you compare your refrigerator 1 to 10? Go.
4.
Okay. I would like a picture to prove that it's a 4. Thank you.
You're not getting one. You're welcome.
Fine. Dang
I'm
it.
gonna drive down to West Virginia, and I'm gonna get there.
I mean,
I'm
you
gonna
could drive to West
down
Virginia. You're just not
drive
gonna
down
find my
50, and I'm gonna
Don't get lost like me. All right, Mark. What else you got for us?
Okay. Shoot, lost my place. Okay, there we go. So Ash also, being the Scot that she is,
Okay.
sent us a sort of a pie chart of words that non-Scots, and I can't even say this word.
Can I say properly?
Can I say properly?
I think that's what it is. Can I say properly? Can I do it? Okay. So.
And I just have to apologize right now, not only to Ash Michelle, but to all of Scotland
Yes.
for what is about to happen.
Okay. Can I start?
Go
And then
for it.
Go.
Are we just
we'll
gonna go
in-
in like a circular pattern here?
Yeah, clockwise. Well, it's a pie chart, of course. It's circle. We're
All
gonna
right,
go
well-
clockwise. Ready?
So
I'm
you
gonna go first.
Okay, you go
Loch.
first. All right.
That's the first one.
What?
Did you hear me?
Loch.
Yeah, lock.
Loch. No, it's not lock. It's
Oh.
loch.
It's lock.
You need more phlegm in it.
All right.
Loch.
All right, I'll do the next one. Tynan Brock.
Really? That's it? There are so many more syllables there.
There are so many more syllables. Can I buy a vowel, please?
Tina Bruach.
Nah.
I don't know. All right. Mark,
Okay.
next one.
So I'm doing the one after that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just say it. Just say it. Spit it out.
Drum the Drocket.
Oh, I think that sounds pretty good.
Oh, that
Probably
did sound
totally
good.
wrong.
What is it? I need the definitions to
rocket.
these.
Yeah,
Are
I
we
do
saying
too.
like cuss words or what is on here?
Let's
These are places, I'm pretty sure.
Mark, put it in a sentence.
It sounds like an expletive. Drum the Drocket.
See, when you do it like that, it sounds even more authentic. All right, I'm next. Crikey. I slipped and hit my bunna haben.
Honey,
Patrick.
come get my melon gavy. And
Wow.
put it in the fridge.
Come get my milk gavy.
Oh. I'm going to say this weather outside that we're having is total drech.
Okay. So the other day, I got lost driving down Sashi Hall Street. Sashi Hall.
I got an appointment next week for an Oktermukti.
Dr. Mukti. Hello, I am Dr. Oktomuki. Mukti, how can I help you today?
I got this big, huge Oktermukti sticking out. You take a look at that, Mr. Drake.
Yep.
Oh, gosh. And finally, Edinburgh.
That's how you say it. You sound like Edinburgh.
No, Edinburgh.
Okay. There's actually one more.
Oh.
You know what I love to eat is fresh hogmanay. Just slap it between bread, slather some mayonnaise on that. Hogmanay. It's yummy.
She just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich. Okay.
All right, there you go. All right, tell us how we did, Ashley Michelle. We have a feeling it was
0%.
bad. 0%. Nah, 0.5%.
F plus.
F plus. I'll take it. Take the plus.
Oh, gosh, that's horrible.
All right, laddie. You got anything else for us?
I think that is it.
Okay. Well, you know what? We appreciate you, our fair listeners, for your patience. Travis, Ashley, Michelle. Though you had doubts, You faithfully waited for us to read your questions. Speaking of faithful listeners, another one of them, a Caleb Dye from Oklahoma. He's actually one of my student missionaries from this past May and June. He wrote me personally and said, "Hey man, I just want you to know, I just got back from kids camp where the 10-year-old campers were actively using the word purple to describe the mixing of boys and girls. That is way too young, Caleb, for kids to be talking about purple."
Wait, what grade was
I
old?
think
10-year-old campers.
Sadly, it's getting younger and younger, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got to watch out. But he said that his friend Megan, who was another student missionary that was with the group, she and her girls came in the dorm and they yelled, "Purple, no purple, no purple." So, for this purple thing,
it's a thing.
It's a thing. Caleb, thank you for sharing that with us. Shout outs to our summer episode where we talked about purple, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Our colors episode.
Our colors, yes. We talked about all colors and what they mean. Fantastic. Check it out. So with that, let's jump right into what's new news, starting with a Marc Boucher. Tell us something good.
Something good?
A good?
I can tell you something.
Tell us something Titan flapping.
Titan flopping. I need to work out. My body's feeling tight and flopping.
Well, I had plenty of hog many this week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
At La Coretta?
Yep. Mm-hmm. It was great for sure.
Yum.
Nothing too crazy out of the ordinary during the week, other than continuing to visit my dad in the hospital, who is making progress.
That's good.
He's able to move his arms and stuff on his own and feed himself, and with some assistance, he got up and actually walked today, so that was a big thing. And he actually got moved from the ICU to a step-down unit today. So
that's progress for sure.
We're going in the right direction.
Good.
For sure. Saturday was insane. And I'll explain to you why it was insane.
Let's hear it.
I took, as some of you may know, I am a youth leader at our church. And I took the youth group to a place called King's Dominion, which is it's a theme park. It's actually owned by the same people who own Kings Island, which is up in Cincinnati, where we all went for, when we joined up together. It's owned by Cedar Fair. And so I took the youth group. We had about 17 people that went on this trip. And the thing about this is normally it wouldn't be a big deal. It's a fun time. All the kids enjoy it. But it was literally the hottest day of the year. The heat index was 106.
Whoa.
Man.
Did you guys hit up
toasty.
the water park? Or just like sit under like one of those spray fans?
They didn't have the spray fans. I didn't see any of those out. I was surprised.
Yeah, totally fired.
They had places where you could go under shade and stuff, but they didn't have any sort of spray. But yeah, it was absolutely atrocious. It was so hot. And we left. We met up at the church. We left at about 8:00 and got to the park at about 10:30 or so. And basically, I had told the kids, starting out, like, listen, it's gonna be super hot and dangerous outside. We're gonna cut it off early today. Normally, we stay in the park until about 5. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna stay until 3, just because it's just gonna be super dangerous, and I didn't want anybody getting sick. So I tried to stay in as many air-conditioned buildings as I could, just because I absolutely can't stand the heat. I am, a New Englander, born and raised. I absolutely love the cold weather. I love snow, all that kind of stuff. I just I cannot stand the heat. So I tried to stay inside as much as possible while remaining a responsible youth leader and trying to spend time with the kids as much as possible. About 3:00, we met up again, and we were talking to some of the parents that were chaperoning and stuff, and they said, yeah, so the kids haven't been able to get on a lot of the rides that they've wanted to because I guess the lines, there were still plenty of people that showed up that day, even though it was so hot. But they're like, yeah, unfortunately, they just haven't been able to get on all the rides they wanted to. So let's see at 3:00, see how they're doing, and see how we feel, and we'll go from there. Well, 3:00 rolls around, and we meet up, and most of the kids are like, oh, yeah, we're fine. We're okay. My wife, Kristen, was not feeling very well, and one other student was not feeling very well. And so ultimately I was like, well, I'm not going to continue to submit them to this type of weather. So I was like, no, we need to just go ahead and call it. And then one of the parents were like, well, tell you what, if you want to go ahead and take those people who aren't feeling well home, then we'll just go ahead and stay, and we'll be responsible. And I felt bad at first just because I felt like I was just kind of giving up on the rest of the group and kind of shrugging off my responsibilities to be a part of the youth group for the rest of the day. But
Sure.
These parents, they're awesome. They were just like, like, as long as you guys are okay with it, you're like, yeah, no problem. Go ahead and take whoever needs to go home, and we'll stay with the rest of the kids. So they stayed until about 5:30. So they are troopers for that, because I couldn't handle it anymore.
Right.
It was so hot. But ended up taking those people home. Kristen and the other girls, they're feeling better now. But overall, I mean, it was still a good time, and the kids all had fun, and that's the biggest takeaway from it for sure.
Yeah.
And so that was honestly the biggest thing that happened during the week, and then obviously more and more Apex for sure. But that's pretty much my week. Well, I do have one more thing that I'm pretty excited about. So, y'all know about Exploding Kittens. I've converted one of you recently.
You have. We're still working on Patrick. He's a
What
hard
is-
shell to crack.
Exploding Kittens. I haven't played that before.
I don't believe you.
I do believe that he
I
doesn't
don't remember playing
very
it.
much. That
Well,
sounds
yeah.
about right.
Yeah, true. So the makers of Exploding Kittens, they are a group called The Oatmeal. Don't ask why they're called that, because I don't know.
Why are they called the oatmeal?
I don't know. Told you not
Please
to ask
tell me
that.
they're coming up with vomiting kittens.
No.
Yes, that'd be
Oh,
vomiting
this
cats.
would
That
have
would be
been-
perfect.
Oh,
No. Even better.
Even better than vomiting cats?
Yes.
flying kittens.
They have combined a card game with dodgeball to create a game called Throw Burrito. And it's basically,
I feel like
this,
you mentioned this before. Have
Yeah.
you mentioned this?
I
Yeah.
probably did.
And I was like, and I said, you throw cards at people?
No. They have these the stress balls, that type of material, that rubbery kind of material. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Okay. Well, they make these like they're burritos, and they have little faces on them. And you're supposed to throw those. And
Okay.
Hot potato?
yeah, basically. Except you're playing dodgeball with them, because there are cards in the deck that basically you either have to do like a burrito duel or burrito war. So you have to do different things with throwing the burritos at each other. All
Do you
while
get like a throw in the face card? Because I want to get that one.
Yeah, really.
you could probably be pretty liberal with some of the burrito cards to where you could throw it in someone's face, and they're really soft.
Do you
So
know
it's not
that
that bad.
burrito is Spanish for little donkey?
No, and I will never look at a burrito the same way ever again.
So every time you eat a burrito, you're eating a little donkey. And when you throw burritos at people's faces, that's a little donkey to their face.
In the eyes of the wreckage.
The more you know. Yeah, so basically it's a card game where you're trying to get pears. I mean, not pears.
Apples.
Yeah.
Plums.
Yes. No, pears. P-A-I-R-S.
Oh,
pears.
right. Sorry. Wrong fruit.
Yeah, you're trying to get pears, and while you're doing that, you end up drawing cards to where you have to throw these like soft burrito toys
Little
at each other.
donkeys. Mm-hmm.
Yes, these little donkeys at each other. And it looks like a lot of fun, and I happened to get my hands on the prototype copy of Throw Burrito.
What? Did you break in like the people are going to break in Area 51?
You know
here in a month?
oatmeal?
No, I don't. But I do know eBay. And that's how I got it. It was part of their Kickstarter campaign. Basically, one of the things that they gave out as an incentive was the prototype of the game, where instead of like the cool looking like burrito with the little face on it and that kind of stuff, it literally looks like a stress ball in the shape of a burrito, and it literally says on it, "I am a burrito." And some of the cards aren't completely colored and stuff like that, and they've changed some things in between when they released the prototype and to the final retail copy. So I got the prototype copy, and so I have not played it yet, but I'm excited to be able to play this new game because I absolutely love exploding kittens, so I trust that this game will be just as much fun.
Who wouldn't love tossing little burritos? I mean, that sounds like a magical game.
Tossing little donkeys.
Oh, yeah, little donkeys. Man, I messed that up. That's what I meant.
But that is pretty much my week. Patrick.
Yes.
How was your week?
Week was good. Big thing of note this past week is we had Clark's 5th birthday party. We had it at a bowling alley, and this was our first destination birthday party for both of our kids. Like in the past, it was just at the house. So we were this year we really wanted to take them to a place where like there's an activity, and to where we didn't have to worry about cleaning the house, getting everything ready, or cleaning up afterwards. So we went bowling, and we ordered pizza and drinks and all that stuff. So all that was taken care of. So it was Clark and like 10 other kids at the bowling alley, and we had gotten there first, and we were just like testing things out. Clark had maybe bowled once before, and so we got out one of those ramps. Like the ramps you hold up, and then it just goes all the way down the ramp and down
just
the aisle.
Just let it go.
Yeah. So we did that, and he got one of those 6-pound balls, threw it down there. It went down the alley, maybe 7 miles an hour, and then with those 6-pound balls, once it hits those pins, it just like kind of like just like touches it and then goes off to the side.
Yeah,
it's not like
correct.
a 16-pound ball that like knocks him over and goes through him. But so like the first ball went down there, he got 9 pins. And
nice.
then we moved the ramp over to the side, and it went all the way down the aisle, and he got a spare in his the first frame. And I was like, this is good. This is good. Like Clark was pumped. He was jumping up and down.
He's a natural.
And Clark, he's 5, and then we have some younger kids, and we have some older kids, and some of the younger kids had never been to a bowling alley before. So like the ball return machine that is right up where you bowl. So one of the no-nos is don't put your hand in there.
Oh no. No.
So what did they do?
So it's like, I mean, yeah, obviously it's a hole. There's a sound coming out of it. Let's put our hand in there. No kid put their hand all the way in there, but they were told multiple times, get your hand away from there.
Get your hands out of that, punk.
Yeah. Get your
I
hands
will
out of
say
that,
though, like
punk.
I don't know if it's set up anything like real person, like not real person, but like adult
Fake people.
Yep, that's it.
Tiny donkeys.
Adult bowling, but like, you know how like the ball return, like there's like a certain spot where it's got the air that blows out.
Yeah.
Yes.
To where you can like dry off your hand and that kind of stuff if you're sweaty and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Did it have anything like
worst.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a good time. The kids had a blast. Clark had an absolute blast. Yeah, it was good. Lucas, when you have your birthday parties, have you ever taken them to like a place, like a play place or anything for their birthday party, or a picnic, or an area? It's always been at someone's house.
Let me reach back into the recesses of the many years that my children have been alive. I want to say a majority of them have been in-house. So in Brazil, there are a number of little Chuck E. Cheese like places that you can rent for thousands of dollars.
Oh my goodness.
It's ridiculous. Like,
jeez.
You can't, it's not like Chuck E. Cheese where you can just go in and rent some tables or, buy some pizza and stay in a certain area. It's either rent the entire facility or do not rent the entire facility.
Brazilian Chuck E. Cheese, where a kid can be a kid for a price.
Yeah,
and adults could be broke.
As long as you sell your firstborn, your secondborn can have a party here. Man, I'm blanking about. I know we've had them at the house a number of times, but I'm afraid you asked me too quickly.
I tell you what.
Remember.
It was.
Tell me.
It was phenomenal.
I'm sure it was.
Not having to
fun.
worry about setting up, getting things ready, getting into the attic or the basement or storage, and getting everything all set up and out and presentable. It was all done by this bowling alley, and like we just ordered some pizzas, had those delivered. They provided drinks, and it was really, really easy. We didn't have to, like, after the party, we came home and played with Clark's toys. Whereas if we had it at our house, we were like, okay, let's clean up first, and then let's open your toys, kind of thing. So it was, it worked out. It was very eye opening. I'm like, I don't know if I ever want to have a birthday party at my house again. It's got to be somewhere else.
Yeah, you're kind of stirring some of my creative juices. So I'm pretty sure we've always had our birthday parties in a house for our kids. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to trick someone in our church or friends and be like, hey, let's have the birthday party at your house. And then when the birthday party's over, we just leave. We don't even help clean up or anything. That would be fun.
It would be. Just give them like $50. Like, all right, here you go.
Here
or
you
50
go.
Or euros or 50 rupees. What do you have?
Yep, rupees. We definitely have rupees, just like the Russians and the Legend of Zelda. Yes. Yes. I just run around looking for jars. Yeah, and cutting down shrubbery to get rupees to pay people for birthday parties.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah. So we did that. On the gaming front, like Mark said, Apex Legends. Apex Legends this past week has been my best week of my Apex career, if you want to call it a career. So from February to like July, I had gotten like 11 wins. Yes, 11 wins. And this past week, 16 wins. This past week.
16?
Nice work.
Good work, man.
It's
more than 2 a day.
I got 2 in a row one time. I was the champion, and then I won that match. And then I played with Eric Estep, Bengalman 09 one night, and we had gotten 3 wins out of maybe like 5 games, and then we got another one that night. But it was just one of those things. Like if I felt like every time I got into a game, I was supposed to win. So yeah, it ended up being pretty good. Other than that, I played this new game called 1980X. It is like an 8-bit style game where it was like it was a 70-minute game, and it is made by this studio, High-Bit Studios, and you are this like teenage girl who doesn't really fit in to anything in high school, so she's trying to find ways to fit in or find the right crowd, right group, or something that she really enjoys. And she finds this arcade like store room in the outskirts of town, and she finds, like, she plays 5 games, and you play those 5 games. And they look like they're like Galaga, Outrun, some sort of like dungeon game, and a Shinobi Ninja Gaiden type of game, Streets of Rage type of game. You play all through those, and as you play those, like, there's a narrative that is happening, and she's realizing that this is her calling. She like, when she's in high school, they say, like, once you reach high school, you get put into like the jocks or the preps or the nerds, and she has no idea where she fit in. And now she knows where she fits in. She loves games, and she wants to be around games all the time. It spoke to me, because that's kind of like what I was. I was like, when I was young, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I was homeschooled for like 6 years. I'm like, I don't know where I fit in, but I know that games draw me in. I'm able to, like, immerse myself in a whole different world and become, like she said, like, you can be like a bug collector in the morning and a bank robber at night. And that's what games do to you. And I was like, man, this speaks to me.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. It was $10, 70 minutes. It was a short game, but I had a good time. But the biggest game I played this past week is called Power Rangers Beats of Power, I believe.
Beats of Power?
Beats
is this
of
like
Power.
Is this like a music rhythm game or something?
No. So it's a fan-made game.
Oh, no.
And they have taken all, like, the 1990s, like, Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo games, like the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game from Super Nintendo, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie game on Super Nintendo, and then the Power Rangers movie game from Sega Genesis. And he took, like, the best of all 3 of those and made it into one game. He added, like, video clips from the TV show, added audio clips from the TV show, and it was awesome. And it was all done by just like this one dude who wanted to make some sort of fan game. I mean, like, you start out as, like, say you can choose all of the Power Rangers, their teenage form, and then once you beat all the putties, you get to morph into a Power Ranger.
You beat all the what?
The putties.
What's
like
a putty?
The grunts,
they're called putties? Like putty? Oh, yeah. I didn't know
because
they're
made out of clay or putty.
Yeah, they're made out of clay.
Oh, okay.
Made out of putty.
I forgot they made that sound. They sound like little turkeys. That's awful.
But it was cool. I mean, like, you would turn into a
hilarious.
Power Ranger, fight a boss. The boss gets bigger, and then you can choose your Dinozord, whether it was a Megazord, Thunder Megazord, Dragon Zord, or White Tiger, and then you do that for like 7 straight levels. It was really, really cool. It brought back a lot of memories. It was free.
Yeah, where'd you play this?
On my laptop.
PC? Yeah.
Yeah, I just plugged in my Xbox controller and I just played it.
I saw you were playing it on stream.
Yeah, I was trying to stream it, but it wasn't working at all. So I just stopped that after about a half hour and just continued to play it. So
Do you think because it was a fan-made, like, it's not an official game, maybe didn't work?
I don't know. I mean, like, when I stream, it's like straight from the PS4 and it just works. Like, streaming from my laptop, I've never done that before, so I don't know if I was using the right settings or whatever. But yeah. That was fun.
Nice.
Now, I feel like you're holding out on us because you mentioned earlier this week that you were playing another game, and I thought this was the perfect time for you to mention it because it is super nerdy. There's 15 of them officially, along with multiple branching off games. And Ronnie would have no idea what you're talking about if you talked about it. That is Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, yes, that's right. I did start that.
Yes, you did.
I totally forgot. Oh, my gosh. That is, like, there's a reason why I haven't played Final Fantasy games before is because they are super Japanese, and it's just like
they are.
If you did you play Final Fantasy 15? Did either of you play it?
I
tried.
Did you try?
So
I played like
the beginning,
4 hours of it.
It looks like they're in like England, and there's just like this. He looks like a guy from the Order 1886, and he's just like this like king, and then his son and his friends are all just like emo kids. I'm like, this doesn't look right. And then they have that dialogue.
Trip. Yeah,
it's like, Dad, I don't want to be around here. I'm going on my own. And then the dad's like, well, son, heed my advice. I'm like, how are you related? How are you son and father? So like they get in their car and they're driving off into the west. It looks like the west, and they stop. They break down. So they pull into a repair garage, and there is a mechanic, and this mechanic is just like it's a woman dressed with Daisy Dukes, just like cleavage showing. Yeah, I'm like, this is the mechanic, and she's got like an Australian accent. Like, where are we? Where are we, guys? What world is this? So she's like, well, we're gonna take care of your car. Why don't you go out and fight these scorpions? I'm like, what in the world? What is happening? I don't know where I am yet. So
you are everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Like, hold on a second. Is this payment? Do I have to pay you, or am I gonna kill these scorpions and then I'm doing you a favor?
5 large scorpion bodies.
I'll bring you back some scorpion bodies for I don't know. It was weird. It was super weird. I played it for maybe an hour, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I can continue this because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
You totally need to stream that because it sounds so crazy.
Like a dream like I would have.
Yeah, it is crazy.
None of it makes sense.
I played 4 hours. I've played a lot of Final Fantasies. I've played like Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, and I started the first 4 hours of Final Fantasy 15. And the only reason I stopped is because I knew it was a big time investment, and I started doing other stuff. But I played like 4 hours, and I think I'm definitely going to go back and play through it because I own it now. Someone gave it to me. I have the disc, and so I'm going to play through it someday. But yeah, it's totally Japanese. I found the mechanics to kind of be different because you do a lot of button mashing. It feels like I don't know how much you fought. Patrick, but
yeah, just fought scorpions and just like a scorpion hybrid bear thing. I don't know.
But I don't like when the animation's so long in a like a fighting mechanic that you don't feel like your button pressing matches with the fighting. Like I felt like I was mashing, but he wasn't moving to my mashing. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I get that. Yep.
I didn't really like that so much, but I'm gonna go back and keep giving it a chance and see it through because I've heard the story's pretty good, entertaining. And but very Japanese for sure.
Yeah. So
nice.
That's it.
So that's it.
What about you, Lucas?
Yes.
Tell us something good.
I will do just that, Sir Patrick. But before I get into my what's new news, I want to give a quick shout out to a little known movie called Avengers Endgame that has officially taken down Avatar as the all-time top grossing movie by passing $2.79 billion in worldwide sales. We love you, Avengers Endgame 3000. So shout out to Marvel and Disney. We know you're listening to the show and that you appreciate our shout out. But no, I just thought it was really cool. You know, many shout out to us for making the obvious call that it would happen. But the part of the reason I bring it up is not just them passing the mark that we all thought was pretty obvious. I thought it was
GMG guarantee.
That's right. It was a GMG guarantee, but I thought it was crazy. How over the past month, so many news outlets and people online actually doubted that they were going to be able to do it. And there's even been people. I read an article today where someone said, "Sure, they passed the literal amount of money, but when you consider inflation, they're actually number 5, holding the number 1 spot." With almost $1 billion more in sales based on inflation. Do you know what movie it is?
Gone with the Wind.
Yep.
Yes, but that was when that was the only movie for like 16 years.
Exactly. That's what I thought. I was like, really? You're going to compare with inflation and not even talk about the fact that there was like that was the only movie in that decade. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's ridiculous. The fact that Avengers Endgame, amidst all the other movies going on, it's still, I didn't see how many, it was like 3 months, right? So that was like, carry the forward like 12, 13 weeks. That's like way less than what Avatar did. Now, that doesn't take away from Avatar. Avatar was a momentous movie and experience, and it deserved its time in the sun. But guess what, folks? Move over. Blue
and Avatar
aliens.
was more of a 3D movie, so they actually got more of those sales than Avengers did.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a lot of factors into it, but yeah, you can't take away from what Avengers or Avatar did.
I just thought it was funny that, like, a couple things. First of all, the fact that they're like, oh yeah, now that Avatar, the sequels are going to be coming, it's going to knock Endgame right out of its spot. I'm like, really?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah,
because we're like, what?
GMG guarantee, we doubt it.
We're like 10 years off from the first one, right?
Yeah.
I feel
wasn't Avatar 2 supposed to come out like 16 times since the first one was released?
Yeah, it's been
delayed every year for the past 20 years.
That's correct. Before the actual Avatar was released, Avatar 2 was delayed. That's how time works.
Avatar 2 comes out before Avatar 1. That's how they're going to do it. They're changing Hollywood.
Nice. The other thing that was kind of crazy, and my wife Kristen actually brought this up the other day. How crazy is it to be Zoe Saldana right now? Think about this.
Yes.
Because she is in the top 2 grossing movies of all time.
She's secret sauce.
She is
the magic.
Neytiri. She's Neytiri in Avatar. And then, of course, she is Gamora in Avengers Endgame.
And notice she's never a normal skin color.
Yeah.
In Avatar, she's blue. In Endgame, she's green.
She was also in the movie Crossroads with Britney Spears, so doesn't always hit the mark.
Well, okay, you got that one.
Well, listen, she was not a girl, not yet a woman at that point.
Oh,
is that the secret?
It was an oops.
It's a deep pull.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy, and I'm super happy that somebody finally dethroned Avatar. And of all weekends to do it, it was on Comic-Con weekend, San Diego Comic-Con weekend.
Perfect time to do it.
Yep.
Did you guys hear? And I don't know if there's an update to this since then. Can't remember. I don't think we talked about it on the show. But did you know there was a guy who watched Endgame 116 times?
That's insane.
In order to help.
That's waste.
In order to help, make the numbers go up for it to get grossing film. Do you think he really watched it all 116 times?
Yes.
It's quite possible.
If you're going to do that 116 times, I guarantee he watched it 116 times.
He was doing his part for sure.
You can't tell me that in the movies that you've watched multiple times that there weren't parts of the movie that you fell asleep to or got distracted with or whatever.
Sure. At home.
No, but I'm talking about in the theater. What's the movie you've watched in the theater the most?
Shoot. I don't know.
I've never heard of that movie. Shoot, I don't
movie.
know. Can anyone Google that? That movie, Shoot, I don't know.
Usually when I go to the theater, I'll only see it like once or twice. And that's about it.
What about you, Mark? Have you seen multiple times?
I saw Power Rangers, the movie 72 times.
Really? 72?
Like the 90s version?
Fake news.
No, it was probably either The Force Awakens or probably Batman versus Superman. Were tied at like 3 times.
And did you paid attention 100% of the time, every time you watched that movie?
I tried to look around for things that I missed.
Okay. All right. Well, you're a Batman fanboy, so that doesn't count.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
You're not wrong.
I watched Avatar, I think 3 times. I fed into it being the top grossing movie for so many years. But many people that I've talked to that have watched movies like 4 and 5 times. I know a few people in Brazil that have. And every time they say there's always a portion where they fall asleep. So imagine watching 116 times. He had to sleep through it a couple times. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Anywho, back to real life. I am now officially on my own in my missionary journey as my family has flown back to Sao Paulo as of this past Friday.
Oh,
So it's just you?
by myself.
Sing it, Mark. You're just. It's exactly how I feel right now. No, I'm just kidding. It is. I'm by myself, but I'm not by myself. I actually. My family left, and actually, we've been doing pretty well so far in the 4 days that we've been apart. Keeping consistent contact with each other. I'm kind of an out of sight, out of mind kind of person. It's not that I don't love you. It's just when I can't see you, I forget you exist. I'm just kidding.
So
That's not how bad it is.
Forget your family?
Yikes.
Yep. No, I'm just kidding. But I have that personality where I just focus on the here and now, what's in front of me. And it's not that I don't think about the person or don't want to talk to the person. It's just, I don't know. I just am very focused and in the moment. But I feel like we've done a good job at keeping in, contact with each other. We've done a Skype call together. We've done some texting. My daughter, I would say that I think it was yesterday or maybe in the past few days, at least a half a dozen times, she just writes, "What are you doing right now?" I'm just like, "I'm working. What are you doing?" Yeah. But that's also, she'll just type that. She'll just be like, "What are you doing?" I just want her to text me a picture of her, just of her eyeballs looking at me. That's what it feels like. But I've really enjoyed her, writing me and keeping in good contact with the family. But after I dropped them off at the airport on Friday, I celebrated my temporary bachelorhood by hanging out with my buddy Tom and going to see his cover band called Humble and Kind play at a coffee shop in a nearby town in West Virginia.
Nice.
And it was really cool, super fun. Got to see them play live, sing along to some of the songs I knew, and then also catch up with some friends that either I went to high school with or knew from that area. It was really nice. And then after I got home from that, it was kind of late. But you know what? I was just like, I really want to watch the Spider-Man movie. The Spider-Man movie Into the Spider-Verse.
Nice.
And since
on Netflix, right?
Yeah, that's right. And that's partly why I watched it too, is because Netflix in Brazil does not have Into the Spider-Verse. And I was ready to just do a nice little bootleg downloading of that movie. But instead, I got to follow the law, not break it. And I watched Into the Spider-Verse late Friday night. And I would say better late than never on that. And I loved it. I give it 9 out of 10 Spider-Man sweatpants.
I like it.
Yes. It's a very good mix of comic book craziness. It's got the Marvel heart and emotional storytelling that we're used to. Batman's never made me tear up, but little old Miles Morales, he most certainly got me to shed a tear. So there's that.
It was good.
I liked it a lot. I like it a lot. What was that, Mark?
I said, well, that's you. So
Well, that's you. Fair enough. All right, no more jabs at Batman. I do like Batman as much as I'm just jabbing at you, Mark. I love you. I love you and Batman. After that, the next day, I traveled a long 6-hour drive to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and I only stopped twice for gasoline and then to get snacks and water to keep me awake because I was on the struggle bus. I was really tired. I had no one to talk to. I did catch up on a lot of podcasts. I did a lot of Bible listening, listening to some devotionals and some scripture, some Bible verses and chapters through YouVersion, that pretty popular Bible app. I use that, but I just, while I was struggling to stay awake, I refused to stop and take a nap. So I just got me some peanuts and some crackers and water and just kind of spaced it out so that I could keep eating and keep going because I do not like to stop. So in the 6 hours, I just stopped twice. And you can't always do that when you have kids with you. So I took advantage of being all by myself.
Right.
And then I got into Indiana. And then yesterday on Sunday, spoke in a couple church services, met with some leaders, and just some great mission supporters that I have here in the old Hoosierville state. I don't think that's what it's called, of Indiana. And that brings me to now, where I am at church, hanging out with Jesus. Oh. Hold on a second.
Still staring at you.
Yeah. Hold on, guys. My heart's fluttering a little bit. Hold on. For those that can't see, I'm checking my pulse. Speaking of checking pulses, that brings us to our topic of the show. That's right, folks.
I was like, wait a
Today's
second.
topic.
I thought you were serious. I was like,
No, I wasn't serious.
No.
I was like,
no.
I smell it. I smell the transition. It's
Smell that
coming.
transition. That's right, folks. Our topic of the show, time for a 2019 pulse check or mid-year review, where we chat about our frontrunners for the best of the best in 2019 so far. We have so many things to choose from. I say we jump right in it. Whether we're talking about games, films, TV shows, highs and lows of the year, where do you guys want to start? I'll let you choose. Patrick, go.
Let's start with games.
Yes.
I'm down for that.
I love that choice. Now, do you want to give your early frontrunner for Game of the Year, or do you want to hear Ronnie's first?
We only doing one?
No,
I'm sure Ronnie has like 6.
No, we're gonna. So yeah, I do need to. Let's go back since we're not finalizing our of the years, our ODs, as I like to call them.
Okay.
We can just talk about a variety of games. So
all right,
there's no like, here's my number one. No, just talk about it.
Okay, yeah, I don't have my number one yet. I'm just like, hey, these are some nominations.
No. Ooh, can I guess? I have a
list.
guess of what one of your contenders are. You ready?
Go ahead, go.
Conan Exiles.
That is one of my failures.
Am I close?
That's,
no. That's one of my
Playing
lowest
on
moments.
another list.
The lowest moments of the year.
Yeah.
Playing Conan Exiles.
Cheap platinum.
Yes. Sorry to spoil that for everyone.
The
That's
toadies.
I totally
Tragedies
forgot
of the
about
year.
that game. I would have forgotten about that game, but now you're going to keep bringing it up.
That's right. All right. Patrick, give us
Salt in the wound.
a game of the year.
Okay. I mean, Apex Legends. That's one of them. Yep.
I'm so surprised right now. I can't believe it.
You took mine. God.
Yeah. It's a nomination. It's not necessarily the game of the year for me.
No.
But yeah, that's one of them.
It's a front runner. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want me to go through my list that I have, the nominations I have?
Sure. I mean, you guys.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to? I mean, I know Apex is all you guys talk about, but
Yeah.
is there any certain aspect of Apex that's put it at the top?
I mean, I love the battle royale genre. I just love the getting into a game and then just like you're playing against, like 20 other teams, groups of 3, just to become the best there is in that for that game, and just becoming champion. I mean, it's a 20-minute game. I mean, like you could be in there for 1 minute, you could be in there for 20 minutes, and then just hanging out with Marc and Sheldor and Eric and Chris McCracken, whoever's going to be playing with.
Don't forget about me that one time I played with you guys.
Oh, yes, exactly.
That was a magical
everyone
moment.
just jumps in,
That was a good hang that one time.
Man, it was.
Yeah.
Mark, did you want to say anything about Apex, or do you want to wait?
I can obviously one of
Just
my
chime in.
picks.
Yep.
One of my picks is Apex as well. I just feel like this game came out of nowhere. All
Literally,
of a sudden, all of a sudden, like 2 weeks,
yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, by the way, Respawn's dropping a battle royale game. Rumor has it. And I'm like, oh okay. Oh, and it's based in the Titanfall universe. Oh okay, even better. And it turns out day one, the game just worked. Everything about it was fun.
Yep.
The ping system was revolutionary, in my opinion.
Yep.
It definitely helps, to where I think we had this conversation. Actually, I had this conversation on Fortress of Nerditude, which I totally forgot to mention in my update that I was on Fortress of Nerditude.
Spencer
Yeah,
Stapleton judges you.
He's like, wait a second.
He forgot
I
about
am
me.
so
about
sorry,
me?
Spencer. But I remembered.
Punk.
You punk.
I'm sorry, punk. But yeah, Spencer and I talked about it. The ping system, it makes it so much easier to play with random people, because typically, I'll have my headset on when I'm playing with my friends, just because they're my friends and it's easier to coordinate and have fun with each other, talking to each other. But with randoms, you don't know who you're dealing with. You don't know the type of personality they are and how nice or rude they can be. And so that cuts all that out with the ping system. So I think it was actually Spencer's, one of his like question of the weeks was like, for Apex, the ping system or headset, which do you prefer? And so I had to quantify that. Like, well, if it's with friends, then it's the headset. But if it's just with random people, then the ping system. Just because it's so effective, it's so clean, and it just worked. The game just worked from day one, and it was one of those games that, like, I love the Battle Royale genre too. I've played several Battle Royale games with Patrick and other friends of ours, and this is the first one that I actually felt like I'm contributing. Like, yes, I was part of the squad and trying to help where I could, but like I was actually getting kills and, setting up plays and all this type of stuff. And I feel like this has been the most accessible Battle Royale game for me. And they've certainly made it fun with the challenges and as well. Now it's not perfect. They've got some glitches they need to fix. But I just absolutely love it, and the fact that it came out of nowhere and essentially was free to play.
Yep.
With the exception of, if you want to put some money into it in terms of the battle pass, which with how incredible a game it was and is, I had no problem throwing out some money for it. So yeah, Apex right now is the front runner for me now. Granted, we haven't gotten into the fall.
Yes, and I'm concerned because right now I've been playing just solely Apex, pretty much. And once we get into the fall, the September, October, November, December games, I'm concerned of how much I'm going to play Apex because other games may take its place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say I wouldn't knock you guys for that choice, even though I only played the one time with you guys and I very quickly deleted it off my XMB, or whatever it's called with PS4. I don't have a problem with it. It's really the problem is me. There's two things that are factors that go against Apex for me. It's one, I'm just not a natural like shooter guy. Like I'm just not good at it against people. I can figure it out, and, I love playing Borderlands, and, I love playing the campaign for Call of Duty, but when it comes to playing against humans, they're just way better than I am. And so I recognize that I do not have that natural ability. The second thing is I don't like the small teams because I'm very much well aware when it's my fault that my team failed. And, the combination of those two things just kind of causes me to not really want to get into it because it's very like I think it's a really good shooter and just everything about it is fair and everything. I prefer more like Overwatch, where there's some other factors that can play into it other than being good at headshotting people and all that. So
I get that.
You can just heal people, and I like having the the multiple roles and the things that you can do with Overwatch. But for me, pretty much, I looked at my list of games that I played. Like I said in weeks past, I've only beaten and finished about 20 games, and then played like some classic games with family and friends from the classic Nintendo. And for me, the only one that I think is like a front runner right now is What Remains of Edith Finch.
Really?
I know that's not a game this year.
No, but it's for you.
Did you play it this year?
I played it and beat it, and I really just loved the story. And I really like, whether you want to call it a walking simulator or an experience, I really just love games that draw me in. And I felt like I was a part of that family as I experienced death upon death and the way that you get to play through the, and it wasn't like it is a morbid game, but it was done very artfully and tastefully. It wasn't just a game about death and, without getting into all the details and spoiling anything. It was a really good game, and I really enjoyed the experience of it.
Good.
Now, Ronnie, he had this to say for his favorite game. He started by saying, and then he goes into Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5. Those are his games.
Oh, he didn't say Rocket League?
Nope, he didn't say Rocket
Wow.
League. He said not been huge on any games. Now, I would have thought that he would have said Mario because it feels like in his gaming updates, the times he got most excited was when he talked about New Super Mario Wii or whatever he was playing with his friends, how he beat it.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, right. That and Cupman.
Yeah, Cupman.
Cupman.
That old Cupman, one of his favorites. No, he hated that game.
Yeah.
That made him angry.
Bottom of the list.
So now you made a really good segue, Patrick, but because Ronnie and I didn't share ours, I didn't go through it earlier. But earlier you said that you're not sure if Apex is going to last you in September, October, November, December because there's some games coming up. So are there any contenders for the rest of the year that you see taking over Apex that you're going to play?
Well, there's that the Star Wars, the Jedi Fallen Order that's coming out in November.
Mm-hmm.
Death Stranding is coming out, I believe, in November as well. What other games are coming out? I know there's a couple others. Another one that I'm really looking forward to, but I can't really think of it right now. In like a week and a half, Madden 2020 is coming out, and that's gonna take away from Apex for sure.
Yeah, you got to get that plat, man.
Yeah. I know I can't think of any right now, but there are a few. But Jedi Fallen Order is the one that I can think of right now. It's a single player game, so if I'm going for the platinum or not, I may play it a little bit longer, or like since I gotten those 19 platinums and I've been playing games on the PlayStation and not going for trophies, it's so much more freeing.
Yeah,
like I'm not.
It can be.
I'm not going after certain trophies and ruining the experience of the game for me. So, but yeah.
Mark, what kind of contenders do you think are coming out on the horizon?
Definitely Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Borderlands 3 comes out in September.
Still got to work on Patrick. Convert him to Borderlands.
I don't think he's gonna. No, I think he's out on Borderlands.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna go back to that. I tried it. I tried both, and it just wasn't for me.
No,
unfortunately,
granted, we didn't get that far in Borderlands 2, but because there's a lot more interesting stuff.
Yeah, it just felt like it was the same stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a looter shooter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for Borderlands 3 to come, and also Call of Duty Modern Warfare will be coming out in the fall.
Is that the reboot?
Well. It is the reboot.
Yeah.
And they've talked about the campaign about it. Apparently, it's going to make you rethink your morals and stuff like that, because they're going to get into all the crazy stuff that has to do with, all types of war and stuff.
Yeah, I've heard that I think I heard that they someone said that it was going to make the No More Russian mission look like a cakewalk or not controversial whatsoever or something like that.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever play that in Modern Warfare 2? Was it?
No.
I did not. I heard about it and what's in it.
I did play it, actually.
Yeah.
And it's understandable why it's controversial, but the fact that, in full disclosure, the mission is pretty much you like you're like an undercover guy working against the Russians, and they walk into an airport and just shoot up everybody in the like civilians and everything. So it's a very controversial level, but the fact that they said it was going to make that look like no big deal, it's like, geez, what are they doing in this reboot of Modern Warfare?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how they do that, and how controversial it'll be. But I enjoy the Call of Duty games, so I've pretty much bought them since I want to say Infinite Warfare, which I know wasn't that long ago, but I've been really getting into those games, and so I'm excited to see what they do with Call of Duty. So yeah, there's going to be several games coming out. Death Stranding, I don't know if I've landed on whether I like that or not, whether I want to play that. It is very much a Kojima game.
Yes. It's very Japanese, Patrick.
Yeah, but I like the Metal Gear Solid games.
You like that kind of Japanese?
Yeah.
That's true. It's definitely different than Final Fantasy.
I didn't like the Metal Gear games, so I don't know. But apparently this is different from the Metal Gear games.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well, for me, when I look at the contenders for the rest of the year, as you guys know, my New Year's resolution is to not buy any games. So it makes it hard to look at the games coming up because there's a very slim to no chance that I'm going to get any of those games. Funnily enough, I forgot to mention that on the same day that my family flew back to Brazil, I drove by a GameStop and was like, you know what? I'm going to stop by here and just see what's going on. And they have a 3 for $15 sale where you can pick 3 games that are pretty much $10 or below. And I had 3 games in my hand, and it was like the first time that I really felt the temptation of breaking my New Year's resolution. I think I had Mass Effect Andromeda, which I know is not like a crazy good game, but I love the Mass Effect series, and I have 1, 2, and 3, and I'd love to play the 4th one. But I had that. I had Shadow of War, and I had Battlefront 2 in my hands. And I was like, just all I had to do was turn around and go to the cash register. And I just thought, I'm not going to be home for another 2 months. What if one of these games shows up on PS Plus as a free game? You know,
Mm-hmm. Shadow of War might.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait. And so I denied temptation. I can't say that in September when I'm about to return to Brazil that I'll be able to fight it again, but we'll see. But with that in mind, for me, I think of what's downloaded on my system that I'm looking forward to play. One of them is Detroit Become Human. I think that very much can take over What Remains of Edith Finch. And then The Witness possibly could. It's very much a puzzle-heavy game, but it's the little bit I played, it was very intriguing and a nice little brain twist in a good way kind of thing. So, all right, so those are our early contender and late contender game thoughts. How about film? We will jump into the movies. Now, I thought it would be cool, maybe based on our experiences this year. This might not work, but I thought we could do our grown-up film of the year early contenders and our kids' films or animated films of the year early contenders. Would that work for you guys, or do you not have much, or do you just want to lump it all into one?
It would probably be better to lump it all into one just because.
Fair enough. Well, we're just going to mention movies anyway, so it's all right. Yeah. That's all. So films of the year, what are your early contenders?
For me, Avengers Endgame.
Duh, that's like got to be all of ours, right?
Yeah, there is no other.
There is no other point. Well, funnily enough, ironically enough,
funnily.
Not a word.
Are we going to the zoo? Funnily enough, we are going to the zoo. That sounds right. Yep, it passes. Ronnie said, Endgame by a lot. Love the action and storyline. Yeah. It's so obvious. Avengers Endgame for the win. And so I think the only other ones I mentioned that, partly because I've seen them most recently, the other 3 movies that I thought of are the ones I've seen in the last few weeks. Far From Home, Spider-Man. I really liked it. I actually, and maybe this will come up later in a possible spoiler cast, but I liked it more than Homecoming. And so I would definitely count it without going into details. I really liked it. Toy Story 4, it wasn't just the movie itself that I thought would be a cash grab. It was a really good story, and my kids loved it, and just watching it with my kids was just a great experience. And then most recently, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's
a good one.
It's a good one, and I know that's last year, right?
It is.
Yeah,
technically,
I saw it this year.
Yeah, and you saw it this year too. It was technically last year, but yeah, we watched it this year, and it's so good. But it's still, looking at those, Endgame is just like the no-brainer.
Yeah, I loved Far From Home. I thought it was a great movie, but I just think Endgame is just in a league of its own.
It really is. Yep.
So
now, what are you guys thinking looking ahead at the movies coming up? We have the final Star Wars movie of the Skywalker saga coming.
Ooh, that could be pretty close with Endgame. Yeah, I mean that's the end. We did the end of it, the Infinity Saga, and this is the end of the Skywalker saga. So we will see.
It depends on how J.J. Abrams lands the Millennium Falcon, if you will.
If he lands it, or Crashes it.
Yeah.
Crash and burn.
So we'll see how it goes. But
Speaking of which, when's that Top Gun movie coming out?
Oh,
is that this year?
2020.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
It's 2020. Yeah, speaking of that, was that not like amazing? Like that got me hyped.
It looks like the same movie 20 years later based on the trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
which I'm totally fine with.
I was going to say, which is what you want it to be.
Yeah. I love the fact that he based on the premise of the movie, that he's refused to get out of the cockpit and become like a administrative or a sergeant or whatever. Like he's still flying. He's like 70 years old. And he's like, nope, I'm staying in the cockpit of the jet. I'm not going, punk. It's like, man. But yeah, that looks like that'll be cool. But I can't think of anything other than the Rise of Skywalker, as it were, that could topple Endgame. Can you guys think of any? Do you know of anything else coming out?
That's the only one I'm really looking forward to.
Did y'all see? I don't know if it comes out this year or not. Did y'all see the trailer today for the movie about Mr. Rogers?
Oh, I did, with Tom Hanks.
Yes,
that's not out yet.
No, they did one.
Oh, they did
one. They did a documentary.
Yes,
yeah.
Jenks
documentary. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, I don't know if that comes out this year or next year, but if we were to consider grown-up movies, and if it came out this year, that one looks really good.
Yep. I bet you that will be good for sure. But that would be weird to compare that to Endgame.
Yes, it would.
Thanos versus Mr. Rogers.
The best movie of the year, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Second best, Endgame. It's like, what?
I'm taking you down, Thanos, neighbor. Yeah.
And that's a beautiful the name of the movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I mean, that's just perfect.
Yeah.
It's so perfect.
It really is. To finish out, I think wrap up our entertainment section, Travis Popsicle wanted to know first, before I get in what he wanted to actually know about, let's talk about our TV shows of the year.
Before you go ahead, let's go ahead.
Travis, before you go ahead, we're going to go ahead, okay? Perfect. Thank you for saving that, because I totally was like tripping over my tongue. I'm like, so, what do you guys got for TV shows?
Stranger Things.
Front contenders?
Season 3.
Season 3. I'm going to stop.
I want to say that. I want to say Stranger Things Season 3, but I am still a bad fan. I have not watched all of the season yet. We've only seen the first episode.
Okay.
Like the very first episode of the first season, or the first episode of Season 3?
The first episode of Season 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've watched worse. The first 2 seasons.
I watched
pause this podcast. We'll wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Get on this right now.
Oh, you really want to pause the episode or pause the podcast? I've only watched the first 2 episodes of the first season.
You need to get on.
I've watched the first 2 episodes of Modern Family.
All right, let's pause the podcast and all just get to watching. Last one back has to edit. Yes. Oh no, that's not a good idea. Actually, I think you would be last, Patrick. So.
Probably.
You go ahead and edit.
There's like 35,000 episodes of Modern Family.
Yes.
But I will say that having not seen the whole season yet, I'm sure that it will be one of my contenders.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because they do such a great job with that show. Another show that I think it came out either this year or last year, I can't remember, but we watched it this year, is The Umbrella Academy.
Okay.
It's always interesting to see different takes on the superhero genre and the different places where they can take it. And this is kind of a very sort of twisted, dark kind of version of, the superhero life. And just is a very interesting story. The characters are all funny and interesting. And in many ways they have their own issues that they're dealing with, their own struggles. So yeah, it was just a great show. And my wife and I absolutely loved it. So it's definitely a contender for sure for TV show of the year.
Yeah, I need to watch that one. I need to check that out. From what you've been saying, it sounds like straight up my alley.
I told my wife's uncle about it when we were on vacation at the beach, and he's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll watch it." He straight up binged the whole season
during the vacation. Like he totally
Yeah.
avoided you guys and just watched the show.
No, it was like during the day he would go in, because remember we had that nice theater room.
Oh right.
And he would go in there and just watch. He's like, "Man, I love this show."
Huh.
Don't interrupt me, punks.
Punks.
For me, as you can imagine, being in Brazil, not getting, we don't always get the best lineup for TV. Like we don't have NBC, CBS. We have some Brazilian channels. It's kind of hard pretty much to watch shows when other people are watching them now. When they're on Netflix, we can, but then the other wild card in my life is Mindy. And so she doesn't like Stranger Things because she thinks it's creepy. And then we were going to think about watching Umbrella Academy, but then we found out that it's pretty violent and gets kind of colorful in language. They speak lots of French.
Yeah, there are some pretty suggestive things in it. So, yeah.
So that got knocked out. So the show we started this year that I think is the front contender for us and for me is Blind Spot. I don't know if you guys have watched that. You've probably seen the cover art on Netflix where it's a lady covered in tattoos. I think it's a show that came out last year. It's pretty much it's like a CSI kind of show where cops are trying to figure out clues, and it's based on these tattoos that are all over this woman's body, but she has no memory of who she is. And just throughout the series, it's like you don't know who's good, who's bad, who's like a double agent. And it's one of those shows where you get to the end of like every few episodes and they reveal some truth and you're like, oh man, I got to watch another one to figure out, what that means or the significance of it. And so it's been a real fun show to watch. I always like watching shows with Mindy that like has us guessing and we have conversations about it, and kind of like Lost or Heroes or some of those classics from the past. So that's
even if you had questions on Lost, you'd never get the answers.
I know all the answers on Lost, and I can talk to you about it sometime and explain everything.
Nope, don't waste your time. I don't care.
So now that we've gone ahead, Travis Popsicle is going to go ahead. He wants to know, what's a show that you would like to see a reboot of? Well, Travis, we will tell you.
Will we?
Power Rangers.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah,
man.
I knew it.
I want to see the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers rebooted.
For real this time.
Apparently, they're doing that in movie form again.
Wait, they're not continuing off of the one that just came out? Not just came out, but
they are rebooting it again.
Jeez, come on. I thought that one was pretty decent. I haven't watched it yet, but
yeah, I thought it was good.
I hope they do something to where like the Power Rangers, they're already the Power Rangers. We don't need to see an origin story. Everyone knows they're teenagers.
Or how about this?
With attitude.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares how they became the Power Rangers. It's like they have these crazy suits.
Nobody cares how they do that.
Just be the Power Rangers.
Put them in the Power Ranger suit. Let them fight for 90 minutes, and then have a Zord battle, and then call it a day. That's what everyone wants. Fight these putties. Kill them.
These turkey putties.
But yeah, I want to see a reboot of that. Like throw it on Netflix. Do a Netflix 10-episode arc of a Green Ranger or a White Ranger or a Gold Ranger or something like that.
Okay.
Do something like that.
Mark, you have a show in mind?
Oh gosh.
Okay.
No.
If you don't, keep
Lucas,
thinking about it.
ahead.
I got one. Did you guys ever watch a little show called Quantum Leap?
Yes.
Oh, with Scott Bakula?
Yes. I would love to see a reboot of that. So for those who haven't, for those of you listening that are probably less than 30 years of age, I can't imagine someone in their 20s knowing what Quantum Leap is. But it's about a guy in the future who travels back into the past, but he doesn't physically travel in the past. He travels into the past and uses the bodies of other people. And sometimes it's men, sometimes it's women. And he tries to either make sure that history happens the way it's supposed to, I think is how it works, or he tries to make it better. So like if someone gets murdered in the past, he has the opportunity to save that person's life. So it's about him trying to figure out with his friend. Do you guys remember his friend's name? Iggy? Iggy, I think, is the
Ziggy.
Ziggy is the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I can't remember his friend's name. That's like Sam. No, Sam is Scott Bakula's name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, he has another friend that is invisible, who's like a hologram projection that only he can see, that gives him information and helps him. But I would love to see that as a reboot. That would be. I like that show a lot. So,
all they would need to do is just show like Scott Bakula or someone who looks like him or something like that, and just have him saying, "Oh boy."
Yeah, that would be all we would need. And
It would
I would
just
be
like the whole entire audience or whoever's watching it would just erupt
immediately,
because that's so fan service.
10, 15 million viewers just from that.
Yeah,
yeah,
just from oh boy.
Oh boy, that's hilarious. Mark, did you think of one?
Gosh, I can't think of anything. Oh,
fired.
Yep.
You are the weakest link.
You're
Goodbye.
fired.
How about reboot that?
The weakest link?
No, The
Apprentice?
Yeah, The Apprentice White House edition. Do it in the White House.
Isn't that
This
like
is real life right now? All you need to do is just turn on
True,
CNN.
it is. Oh, yeah. Never mind. You're right. That is real life. How about The Weakest Link? That's a good one.
Absolutely. Have you? No. What am I saying? Of course you haven't seen Doctor Who. Well, Patrick, you have, but not the older seasons.
Yeah.
So there's actually an episode where they had the weakest link, like the
really?
the lady who hosted the show.
That's hilarious.
And it was like, because they were on like this spaceship that was like one giant game show, but the stakes were like much higher. Like if you lost the game, you literally died. They would like laser you.
It's heavy.
Why would
live
you
to-
want to be a part of this?
They forced you.
Oh,
Yeah.
why would you be a part of this? Or why? What? Like, is it you're in like some sort of prison, and they say, all right, you either win or you die.
Yeah, it's one of those like wow, I can't talk. Totalitarian government.
Like
kind of
Hunger
things.
Games.
Just like Lucas.
Yeah.
What? Just like
Oh,
Just
you
like
can't talk.
Lucas.
Just like you.
Oh,
It wasn't.
okay.
Not
I
the
was like,
second
what?
part.
I'm not playing this game. I don't want to die.
Oh gosh.
So, like,
But-
you would like the old Doctor Who episodes to be done again, just with modern looks and feels.
No, that's that particular episode was still a pretty relatively new.
Oh, right. You're connecting to Weakest Link. Never mind. You're
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Yep. Okay. So I can't think of one.
Fair.
So we'll have to.
Fair enough. We'll continue on.
I'll probably like randomly come out with an outburst of.
What about
One.
something like Masked Rider?
What? Ooh.
Do you remember that show?
What?
Yeah, I remember that show.
I don't remember that show. What about Ghost Rider?
Ooh,
The kid show?
that's a good one.
Where they would, I don't even remember what
Back
happened.
on PBS.
Yeah. I was addicted to that show back in elementary school or whenever I watched
that was
it.
really cool.
That was a cool show.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
All right.
Wait, did they remade that?
Well, they made-
into like a
Yeah.
animated show on Netflix?
The game show.
They need to remake the game show.
Oh, the game
The
show.
game shows where the magic was.
Yes.
Yes.
I was never good at that.
No.
I'm
All right,
I'm not
gumshoe.
good at geography. I would have probably also taken 50 West.
He's like, capital of Illinois. And Patrick's like,
Frankfurt.
Pete, Chicago.
No, that's a trick question. It's Illinois.
It's Illinois. Illinois. Oh, yeah. You got me there. So moving on from entertainment, getting a little personal, we're going to talk about our high and low moments of the year so far. So our early contenders for our highest moments, the highest of the high, and the lowest of the low. So to give you time to think, did you guys want to hear Ronnie's highs and lows?
Sure.
Do it.
Let's do it. So Ronnie had this to say. For his high moment, it was his second date with Elizabeth. He said, I can explain why it was the second date if you guys remember to ask next week. Why would we have to ask?
We will
It's
remember.
the second date because he had a first date.
That's how
But,
numbers work.
That's how numbers work. We don't need to ask Ronnie. We know how to count. Low moment, he said, was watching Superman. I watched it for real. It sucked. Let's move past it. Not taking further questions. You are a liar.
That sounds like the truth.
Does it sound like the truth to you?
That sounds so real. Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, just him writing it to us the day that he's not on the podcast, saying he watched it. Let's move on. Sounds real.
That sounds real to you.
100% authentic.
Mark, what do you think?
Well, if by the truth you mean complete falsehood, then yeah, that's it.
That's the new definition of truth.
I guess so. Yep. All right. Moving on. So, guys, highs and lows. Your highest moments of the year so far, and lowest. What do you got?
For me, I have a couple. The first one was Disney and taking the kids down there.
Oh yeah,
that was awesome. But a very, very close second.
You're gonna take mine, aren't you?
Was when it was just one moment. It was when Lucas, you had come to my house and you were in the driveway, and I ran and jumped into your arms.
And you almost broke my back. And that was a high moment.
You were carrying 100% of my body weight.
Yes. Wow, that was a magical moment. I almost forgot about that. Now my back hurts.
Goodness.
What about you guys?
High moments.
High moments. Certainly, the kind of neck and neck things are obviously it's a highlight of every year when we go to the Outer Banks. We go to the beach. It's always a nice, relaxing time, and it's a great time just being around family that we don't get to see very often, and just doing stuff together, and just really not having much of an agenda. So that's always a high moment for us. And then, of course, a very close neck and neck kind of thing is coming to Cincinnati and spending time with my fellow Good Morning guys and our community as well. Just the fact that we were all in the same room together and we were doing a live show on Twitch. No matter how well or not well it went, for a good 45 minutes, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was only the last 10 minutes that was a flaming pile of trash.
And not watching live.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about
none
that.
the wiser.
Yeah.
Yep. But still, it was just an awesome experience. Like the fact that, listening to like the Married to the Games podcast, which everybody who listens to our show knows that they are a huge inspiration, behind what we do.
Yep.
They're kind of the catalyst in many ways. And so, seeing what they've done and the fact that they've done several live shows, I never would have pictured myself doing anything like that. And sitting in that spot, knowing that not only were we doing a live version of a podcast that I never pictured me doing, but people were actually watching us. People were there to, connect with us, is just an incredible thing that I never would have pictured actually happening. And so that was a huge, huge highlight to see. And so, shout outs to you guys and shout outs to our community, for, sticking with us and liking what we do. So, yeah. Definitely a high moment.
I am right there with you guys, and my top moments, I had two top moments, and they coincide both with the Good Morning guys and my children. I have to say the highlight, I'm going to start first with the number 2 highlight, was when I took my kids, when we went as a family to the Columbus Zoo. For me, they've been to zoos before, and it's like we have zoos in Brazil, but for whatever reason, this day, like I talked about the other week, we literally were there from almost to sun up to sundown. It was a long day, but it was a day just of endless, like my kids are getting old enough now to where they're like all in on stuff, and they're so excited about the smallest things. And when we just went to that zoo and they saw animals they hadn't seen alive, like in person before, just seeing their faces and experiencing with them it was magical. And then that leads them to the number one, which was taking them to their first theme park at Kings Island. But then along with that, being with you guys that whole day at Kings Island. Of course, you know what, like you talked about, Mark, that live show, hanging out with you guys, that was amazing. And I feel like all of that stuff together makes it number one. But that day, hanging out with you guys, riding rides, and just hanging out and talking about dumb stuff, talking about life, meeting Gabe from Married to the Games, and, you know, just like all my, you know, not all my worlds, but, you know, my family and my podcasting family colliding, like, and everybody getting to meet each other. And it was awesome. So it was without a doubt the high moment of the year. So how about the low moment for you guys? Not to end on a negative note. What are you laughing about, Patrick?
Well, we are. I'm just thinking the first thing that popped into my head.
What is it?
It was telling you guys my affinity for Long John Silver's.
Confessing how much you love
Which
it.
then leads you into your high moment, getting followed by Long John Silver.
Yeah,
that was
that's
pretty
exactly
cool.
right. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I guess for me, you know, obviously, you know, dealing with both parents being in the hospital has kind of been a low moment, something I didn't expect coming so soon. And just seeing all the rough stuff that my dad's been through, you know, where there were some pretty scary moments, and it's just never something you look forward to dealing with, and having to face, is trying to take care of your parents when they're not doing well or sick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a rough spot, but you know, God's been good. He's been carrying us through it
All the time.
And been seeing a lot of progress.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and he's taking care of it. So,
yeah, I would say for me, most recently is my family leaving me. You know, and me staying here, it wasn't just them leaving me, but it was dealing with, you know, just the fact that, like, the day before, it dawned on my kids that they weren't going to see me for 2 months. And the last night that we were together, we prayed and we sang together. And my daughter just crawled on my lap and cried. Like, it was heartbreaking.
Aww.
And she just cried and cried. She said, I want you to stay with me. I don't want you to stay here. I want you to go with us, or I want to stay with you. I think that's what she said. I want to stay here with you. And my daughter is just, she only lived the first 2 years of her life in the U.S., but she has such an affinity for the U.S. She is like West Virginia mountaineer through and through. The first day that she was in West Virginia, she went to the department store, and my mom let her pick out a hat. She picked out a camouflage hat. And then she bought some sunglasses, and then a couple days later she was at my friend Tom's house and got on their little toy John Deere tractor. I took a picture. It's absolutely hilarious. She looks like just a backcountry girl, just riding on a tractor with her camouflage hat and sunglasses. And she just is so connected to the U.S. And, you know, that combined, you know, having to leave the U.S. and then leave me, it was really hard. And, you know, when I dropped them off at the airport, they just kept looking back at me walking away and crying, and it was really sad. But the other thing that I thought of that was a low moment has been multiple times, and it's kind of something that started right at the beginning of the year. And I shared with you guys that my son developed this fear of lightning, and it happened on New Year's Eve night, and it happened when I wasn't there to protect him, as it were, to help him. When neither Mindy or I were there, we couldn't comfort him. You know, his grandparents were there, Mindy's parents, but it's since that night when we weren't there and all those crazy fireworks went off, he has had such a death, like just this fear, this terrible fear of lightning, of storms, of fireworks, and it just continues. Like, it's not gotten any better. and especially being in the U.S., it got worse. And so that's been tough. Just because I don't relate to that. I've never been so afraid of something to the level that he hasn't expressed it. Like he screams at the top of his lungs. Like I've never dealt with that kind of reaction to being afraid of something. Usually when I was little and afraid, I would just freeze up and close my eyes and either pray or just try to think about something else. But he screams at the top of his lungs. He gets almost hysterical when lightning's around. And it didn't help that when we were, I think I told you guys, I don't remember, but when we were in Ohio, at one point, lightning struck a tree in the backyard, and it like shook the house.
Oh, goodness.
And immediately he screamed his head off, and he had to sleep with us that night. Like he slept next to our bed, and Mindy had to hold his hand the whole night long. And of course, every little sound he heard, he would wake up. And not only from the thunderstorm, but when I would snore, he would wake up. He would wake up and be like, "What's that sound?" And Mindy would just be like, "Don't worry, James. It's just your dad snoring." And then I would just wake up randomly and be like, "It's okay. It's okay, James. You'll be all right. So you'll be all right." And it's just been heartbreaking to see him go through that. But that's probably those two things have been lows for me. So any other lows? Patrick, you're just going to stick with the Long John Silver's moment?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Fair enough. So do you guys have any other Odies? Any other of the year contenders that you wanted to ask about, share about, or the like?
Shout-outs.
Any shout-outs
to Orange Vanilla Coke.
Oh, yeah. Drink of the year. Orange Vanilla Coke. I could see that. That's a good winner. I would just say Coke Freestyle Machine. That's my drink of the year.
There you go.
That's like my discovery of the year. Like, I love it.
Kind of reminds me of that pitmaster that I had at that local barbecue. Shout out to the pitmaster
for being the.
I want another one of those.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right here, right now.
Let's pause the podcast. And go get one.
Go do it. You can cook it live.
We're cooking it live. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, nothing left.
All right.
That's it.
Well, there you go, folks. That is all for this Odie morning for our pulse check of 2019. If you enjoyed the discussion and the hang with us, we would surely appreciate some love by you taking a few minutes to give us a positive but honest review and rating on iTunes or whatever podcast service you use that allows such written reviews and ratings. Ronnie still owes us something crazy for 20 reviews, and Patrick will be doing something in September for 30 reviews. We have 31 reviews right now.
Hold on a second.
What up?
Ronnie's not here, and I'm going to choose his before he chooses himself, because I have to do mine, and mine's, like I said, August 9th is when I'm doing it. So, and I know Ronnie's not going to do it.
Okay.
Ronnie puts off everything.
All
He's
right.
a procrastinator.
Yeah.
Little effort, high. I know it's like, what is that? It is a high output, low effort kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's Ronnie.
That's Ronnie.
So I'm gonna choose his crazy thing for him.
All right. I like that.
So he's not here this week, which makes it even better.
You can't say no.
So, I'm not going to make him watch Superman. That's already on his, his goals for this year.
He already, quote unquote, has to do that.
Yeah. So, and I was, what I'm going to make him do is I'm going to make him, he's going to hate it. I'm going to make him host the show next week. That means he needs to do the prep.
Yep.
He needs to do the intros. He needs to be the transition ninja.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to drive the conversation.
And he has to do
He's
it.
gonna do the questions.
He can't just cop out and be like, improv
Close
show.
it out.
Let's just do whatever.
Dumpster fire.
I'm not gonna make him edit the podcast.
Dumpster
That'll
fire.
just be like, that'd be stupid.
Dumpster fire. I can smell it now.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna get there and be like, man, I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Yep.
That's what it's gonna be. All right, I like that.
So I'm choosing that for him. He's gonna have to host the show because he's hosted one other time, and that was the Red Dead Redemption 2 podcast with me. Last year. or earlier this year. I can't remember when we did that. But this is a regular show, regular transitions, regular stuff.
Sounds good.
So,
all right,
that's what he's gonna have to do.
That's what's gonna happen. So that is the crazy thing he is gonna do, and then we're gonna find out later in August the crazy thing that Patrick's gonna do. But whether you are gonna do something super crazy or Ronnie's gonna do something crazy next week, that's the kind of things that's kind of power reviews and ratings hold. And not only that, they somehow help us to reach a new audience. So please throw us some love. We love you. You can just love us. Love us back. It's like a digital hug. So thank you so much for that. If you've already done it, thank you so much for your review and rating. If you want to go the extra mile, grab your friend or family's cell phone or tablet. Find us on the podcast service of your choice and subscribe. Leave a rating, a review for them also, as I did with my wife's iPad last week. So you have that. And also, remember, if you'd like to join in on future episodes or connect with us in our most lovely GMG community, check out the show notes for our info. Click that link and find our Discord server filled with a wide range of dad jokes and heartfelt conversations. If Twitter is more your thing, or our handle is at the GMG Podcast, or if you want to practice your radio voice, you can even call us at 929 GMG Guys. Call in, leave a message, ask a question, and join us on the show, because your voice needs to be heard. You know what else needs to be heard? Marc's music that he has for us.
The transition ninja.
So Marc, would you like to share some of your music with us that we're going to be listening to this week?
All right. So as always, you can check out on Spotify and on Apple Music the Good Morning Guys morning playlist. I keep up on the Spotify end of things. Bernabe keeps up on the Apple Music side, so thank you so much for that, Bernabe. So the 3 songs I'm going to be adding this week are actually songs that came out in 2019. So the 3 songs I'm adding this week are Switchfoot's Voices, which is from their Native Tongue album. I have to think about it.
It's a good one.
It's an indie band called Oswald, which features the lead singer of Lifehouse. So their song Dream Child I'm going to add to the playlist. And also a song, it's kind of it's a worship tune that actually just came out within the past couple of weeks. It's a song from Hillsong Worship. It's called King of Kings. So you should definitely check that out. And hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope it helps you get your good morning on.
Fantastic. Well, folks, beyond that, talk at you again next week on podcast services around the globe, as not only Ronnie will be hosting the show and taking care of us, but we will be celebrating Patrick's birthday, and he will be gracing us with a most glorious topic of his choice. So, happy early birthday, Patrick. We love you.
We're going to talk all about Power Rangers. I'm going to make Ronnie talk about Power Rangers for 2 hours.
Go Power Rangers! Oh, man.
No, I don't know what it is.
It'll be a surprise.
That'd be awesome.
It'll be a nice surprise.
Make him do that.
A surprise birthday present from the birthday boy. Alrighty then. Pat, the spirit of Ronnie J, Marc, and also you, our friends and family that also happen to be our listeners. Go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, as Ronnie still refuses to watch Patrick's DVD copy of Superman for 40 straight weeks, and as you game.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now, punk. Now go run home to your mom and cry like a groundhog. Punk, Satoni Phil.
I totally forgot to mention that today is my son's birthday.
Today's your son's birthday?
I saw he went to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah, he went to Chuck E. Cheese today.
You're the worst dad ever, you punk. Not mentioning your son's birthday.
That's the worst thing you can say to a dad, punk.
You're actually not a bad dad. You're a great dad. Unlike that.
At least he can take his son to Chuck E. Cheese. Unlike in Brazil, where you have to pay an arm, a leg.
That's right.
All sorts of other stuff. Punk.
Brazil, those punks.
I'm a cheap punk. Don't want to pay $2,000 for
cheapskate punk.
That's right.
All you want to do is just give like 5 cents to your kid and say, hey, go get yourself some bazooka gun. It's going to run out.
Why don't you go outside and enjoy the grass that people don't think we have, punk?
That's right.
Yeah, you're lucky you have grass, punk.
Yeah, the 2 pieces of grass we
Enjoy your
have.
birthday.
Chew on it. Like a
Get
cow.
out of my face,
Swallow it in your 5 stomachs, punk.
punk. Jesus is still looking at you, punk.
Jesus is like, I died for your soul. You're lucky, punk. I love you.